Here's my vlog for the September 4th, 12:04 p.m. on Wednesday. Can't you see? Can't you see? Hey, look. My little ferret noticed me, and now he wants to come and hang out. And my little birdies are singing now. Anyway, there you go. Anyways, yeah, what time is it? 12. I had insomnia until sunrise again. Like, yeah, I was sitting around and I looked out and it was sunrise, and then I think that's when I fell asleep, but I didn't sleep enough to have a dream. I just kind of slept, and then I was just laying around for the last hour and a half. So, yeah, I'm just like halfway tired from riding. I rode my bike 30 miles yesterday. I got up and obviously really late because I didn't sleep and I had to sleep in, and then I went to my mom's house and had to I think that was yesterday. I had to go and dig up a bunch of dirt. So then I came back here and I didn't want to go on a bike ride because I didn't want to forget my doctor's appointment or have to be back by a certain time. So I just hung here and stretched for a half hour. And I pretty much only had time to stretch for a half hour because I cleaned, actually. Yeah, my place is clean today. Everything's all cleaned up. And so I went into the doctor's appointment, and he said he doesn't think I have testicle cancer. Just because of a little cyst free-floating that doesn't hurt. But, yeah, and then I came back and went on a ride, a 30-mile ride. I rode up north to Altona and then up over Old Stage Road and back, and it was 30 miles. Well, yeah, I love climbing. I need to get in the habit of going on these, like, hour-long rides every day, like do a ride every day. Wow, these things just turn themselves on all the time. All of them do.
And if I may be
oh my
honest,
God.
it's not playing up to Bill Murray's.
Jesus Christ. Why does everything turn itself on all the time? I didn't even touch that remote. I didn't even touch it. I was trying to turn off my fan. God. And then my TV just turned on for no reason. Yeah, I got up this morning and both of my fans were on. And my fan in my room turns itself on all the time. Anyway. Yeah, this TV is sketchy because whenever it turns itself on, sometimes the ferrets turn it on. Like if they walk around and they like push the on button, it'll turn on, or if they push the on button on the other one, it'll turn on. And for some reason, it'll always be on like full blast audio. So like if I ever go on a ride or something and I accidentally leave my remote on the table, dude, or what if I go out at night for a long time and leave that on, this little ferret runs around and it's boom. Oh my God, what a disaster. People be banging on my door, I call the cops and stuff. Anyways, yeah, so I came back and, I was wasted, so I just kind of sat here and I was trying to eat. And then I just laying around. So, and then I, got up and I'm kind of wasted now. So the problem with me is, I'm so sick that I'm still toxic. So I can't recover. So I'm dealing with toxicity, not recovering, and then all the injuries that I have, injuries you get from not exercising. And I also have the sweats. I was cold sweating all last night, 10 minutes ago, And to top all that, probably sleep deprivation as well. And so physically, I'm just an inflamed sore. So I just have to be, patient and enjoy life. Not run out of money. That's the one thing that'll keep me from getting depressed. Somebody, a 24-year-old girl wants to move in with me. Who's like a college student, and I'm like, and I told my mom, and she's like, thinks that's a bad idea, but we're gonna go to the gym in like a half hour, and I'll talk to her about it, because I need a goddamn roommate, dude. I can't get a job, and I can't get any more loans. So, can't get a job because, well, that'd be too depressing. Imagine you can barely walk and you're sick and now you're working. It's like, what? What about the website? Like, can't I ride my bike? So nobody's going to give me money. That's the weirdest thing. But, oh, and whenever I mention Atlantis, I think there's some kind of algorithm thing going, because whenever I do an Atlantis video, it's like, it's just something that I noticed. It's like, not like I care, but, anyway. So, yeah, I don't have the motivation really to do anything. I have to connect my, maybe I should take a full day off and just try to get caught up. Like, yesterday when I was writing, like, all of a sudden, here, I'll show you. This kind of, like, pissed me off. I don't know. So I was writing, and all of a sudden, so all of a sudden I'm writing, and these things just snap. Like, it snapped open, and I thought it was this, because this was popped up like that, and I was like, well, god damn it. So I stopped on the side of the road before the climb and then I noticed this, and I was like, but I haven't even been on that many rides, dude. Like, I have been on the same amount of rides on these shoes as I have with those tires, and those tires are still kind of fresh. Or that freewheel, I mean. And so I was like, do they have replacements? And then I was like, you know what, let's just fix it yourself, Like, I could drill a bunch of holes in there, and then drill some holes in there, and I could just run wire, all up in through there, and then it'd be stronger than it was before. It's like, dang, couldn't you guys make something to last a little longer than that? Anyways, and then I have to, yeah, just all sorts of random stuff. Connect my bike computer to Strava. I think connect my bike computer to my phone. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I have to pay one of my credit cards right now. Today's the due date for my Amazon. Yeah, so anyways, that's what I'm up to. I'm definitely gonna not give up getting in shape this time, because it's gonna take like a month just to feel good, And so if it takes a month just to feel good, like, why would I give up and then get older and worse, and then it would take 2 months just to feel, it's like, and then I never get it back. So I'm just basically satisfied with my website, like, it's not my fault. I bet you one of the reasons nobody wants to give me any donation money, or even has any use for it, other than me not having explained it. God damn it, man. I had a really good point. Whatever. Guess I wasn't supposed to say it. I'll say it tomorrow. Oh, right. The reason that I didn't finish anything on my website is because everything on my website doesn't exist anywhere else, right? So I'm like one of those people who they think of something and they go, well, that has to exist. Let me just go ahead and explain what's on my website, because I haven't done that in forever. Okay? So count your timer, because I'm curious to see how long it'll take me to just explain what I have, right? And I'm not going to over-explain it. I'm just going to say, I'm going to explain it in 3 parts. I'm going to say, hey, this doesn't exist, but it should. And then I'll explain it in 2 parts. And I'll say, well, what I made and how far it's through. So I guess 3 parts. So there has to be websites that take up the entire page, because people, smart people read like speed read. And if in the future, if everybody's smart, everybody speed reads, meaning everybody needs to fill up the entire page. Okay, you can't have like 70% of the page just white blank space, making it so that you have to just scroll all the time, because then it's just words zooming past the screen that you can't track. And to illustrate that point perfectly, compare the CIA World Factbook page to my World Factbook page. Now I'm not done with it. I only finished the America section, and I got maybe a third of the way or a fifth of the way through the British section. But because the American one's done, you can compare it, and I never got around to doing a word count, a density count, like per page. But if you were to compare it with the CIA World Factbook page, it's probably about more than 10 to 1. The World Factbook page is a goddamn embarrassment to the human race. I'm going to do a video about that on my main channel pretty soon, and I'm going to drop a bunch of names, and I'm going to call you children, and I'm going to call your children children. Pathetic little rich kids who are... Oh, yeah, seriously, I'll be like, what? So does your kid read the CIA World Factbook page like that? Dude? Did you design it for your kid? It's ridiculous. Have you looked at it? The words are like this big, like literally. And it's like one line. It's like, damn. So there's no way you're going to learn all of the stats of the countries with the CIA World Factbook page. You're going to have to do it with my CIA World Factbook page. That was one of the most recent of my projects. But that was also like, I spent so much time on that one just explaining it, because that's basically the gist of my website, because everything on my website is designed like that. It's the 5-column format, so that you can take up the entire site. And it also makes it easy to zoom in, you know, like it turned websites into kind of like Google Earth type navigation, zooming in and zooming out. You know, that's why I utilized the vector quality of the text, because when you zoom in, well, now you've got a brand new, you know, website, you know, all those fancy funky fonts are like at 100% resolution. And even the 20 pixel images look good when you zoom in. I don't have them set to 20 pixels. I have them set to 32 pixels, so that when you zoom in, you can still see some detail, but they're not so heavy that it'll take the page forever to load. Or the images. So, and plus, computers are going to get faster. You know, people are like, when you make websites, you have to make them fast. It's like, well, if you plan on having your website being around forever, no, because computers can catch up to your website, you know. But, you know, a lot of ways, computers, my computer, I don't know what the deal is, but it takes forever to load my website, but my computer is like about to die. I need to upload a bunch of stuff. That's another thing I can't do, because I'm not motivated, because I don't feel good. My brain is just cloggy, man. Foggy as hell. What was I talking about? Yeah, the computer can't do something. So anyways, so that's one thing, right? And but not just that. I also have color density. I use all 10 colors of the rainbow in order so that each color signifies a number. To help add as many dimensions to the memorization process as you possibly can. I even have the color coding for the borders of all of the different tables within tables, like, sequentially that way, so you know how deep you are inside of an idea, like how many levels deep. The fonts, the numbers for the fonts have their own too. So the fonts, the number and the font and the color go along with the border. And of course, the background is for the color of this number sequentially. So the background color is going down vertically, but the color of and the font of the number and the border is vertically. I'll explain all this stuff later when I get around to it. But and that's the fun part. Oh my God. See, I hate writing. That drive me absolutely nuts to be like a journalist, like a writer, just telling a goddamn story every day. You know? Benjamin Netanyahu got sweaty at the speech, and so then Donald Trump, he started to burp. It's like, oh. I prefer to come up with like the most abstract goddamn concept, advanced concept I can think of, and then try to use my writing skills to convince people to agree with me. Because at this point, like, it's such a high form of writing that it's almost like you're writing a song. You know, like every single word has to be like analyzed 10 times, and then the entire, you know, order of everything. So to write, like I tried to write kind of like from scratch, like explain my website. And I did it with the help of Kirsten a few years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. For 13 days, I think it was. No, it was 13 pages, but it was over a week. It took me a week to write 13 pages, and that was like working all day, every day. And then I just burnt out. Like I was like, I can't do this because all the stuff I was trying to write, it had to refer to what I was writing with good numbers, and I just was like, let's just finish this later. So, you know, because that's the problem. Like if I were to start to explain myself now, it would have to be like filled with X. You know, I have X number of XXXX, blah, blah, blah. But that's fine, and then you go in and fill in later. But so that's the fun part though. That's going to be the most like fulfilling, joyful experience of the entire, or maybe the only joyful, because you know it drives you crazy to do cut and paste all. So thank God for ChatGPT. But yeah, to write and to convince, and then to listen to it and be like, oh my God, it's like whoa, that's like one step above writing song. You know, songs like what, 100 words max or something. And it's just repeating. So if the ones that don't repeat, it's just a couple sentences. Imagine trying to do like 20 pages where like, you know, every single word had to be scrutinized 100 times. So anyways, that's going to be fun whenever I get around to it. My brain's going to have to be clearer though, and I'm going to have to be patient. So that's the idea of the website. But so then utilizing that design, I call it the rainbow crystal, because crystal is like latticed, packed up perfectly, but you know, which would allow information to travel through so quickly because it's so organized so perfectly. You know, like those little balls, you pull the ball up, comes in, hits them, and then the other one goes way up, and like that. You can do that with the crystals, and so same thing with the website, and so that's why I have the website all gridded like that. You know, everything packed in or perfectly organized, like grid. That's the crystal part. And then the rainbow would be just utilizing the colors with the numbers all the way down, with everything colored. It looks more appealing that way, you know? Like here, I'll show you. That's one of the like bicycle data pages I made when I was smoking reefer. Look at all the colors, you know, just to look at it. You're like, whoa, and then you can play the game of trying to figure it out. And then see, and at this point, now you're doing a conceptualization, a high-end, deep conceptualization with the aid of the visual cue there. So imagining like everything going on in the physical world. I'll explain those things individually later, because I made a bunch of them and I never explained any of them. So, you know, I've got like my work cut out for me. Like the fun stuff though, you know, explaining something wild and wacky. So anyway, from now on, the only time that I really sit down should be like this, should be when I'm doing my vlog. And maybe I should, I don't know, different bed, because like I can feel my legs dying right now just from sitting here. So anyways, so then I did a timeline under that idea for the entire history of the world, so that you can go forward, backward, and zoom between different countries. Not done with it, but far enough through to see that, I will be done with it. And you know what? I don't want to list the things that I did anymore. I Google Earthed everything in the world, Rome, and I even screen captured the video tours from Rome. I traveled through Rome. This wasn't very recent. This was like 4 or 5 months ago when I had a money issue. Maybe it was a year ago. God damn it! Seems like just a couple months ago. But I was like, fuck, I need money, and so I got my HELOC loan. But then I just started like doing screen captures of Google Earth Rome because I was gonna make nice badass YouTube videos of it. I'd be like, give me money for that, because but I was traveling through every single road of Rome and all the buildings, dude. So I literally was a tourist in Rome, ancient Rome, for a week. Dude, like, you come up with some pretty cool insights, man. Like people realize that, the past was pretty damn magical. I was watching some YouTube videos of this, like, all these, like, ancient villages that they've been discovering, and it's like, my God, like, carved into the rock. I saw this ancient cliffside. It was 400 feet above. It's on a sheer cliff. This is in Arizona. It was discovered like 50 years ago. 400 feet above the bed on one of these cliffs, and then you somehow get to it from a certain way, and it's a quarter mile down, and it's just all these buildings built along this little ledge, sheer ledge, and then there's this one ledge. It's like a little wider than my apartment here, but I mean, they are the same as my apartment. And then they have this one two-story keep. It's like, damn, like, I was thinking, like, people need to make, like, movies, like, full-length feature movies about people's lives living in one of those places, And then, but not make it the same old thing, like, oh, and then because the guy was like, they made this as part of a defensive thing between in the 12 and 1300s. Somebody was terrorizing everybody in Arizona. I think it was the Anasazi, because I was listening to this old Indian guy, and oh man, I want to listen to all of his stuff, because they're like, the Indians don't have history. It's like, no, if you let those old guys start yapping on YouTube, they actually do kind of have oral history, and you can turn that into written history, and it's like, wow. And then you superimpose that onto the science, carbon dating. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, because this old Indian guy said, yeah, the Anasazi were bad guys and they were cannibals, and they came in here from somewhere else, like the south. So maybe they were an offshoot of the Mayans or the Aztecs, and yeah, they would just run after and kill everybody. And he also talked about the giants. There used to be giants too, but like a long time ago. So then the Anasazi, like, everybody banded together and killed the Anasazi, and so there's no Anasazi left, made them extinct. And so maybe that was had to do with that. People ran up into the cliffs to get away from the Anasazi or the wars that were going on. But you could make a movie about that, and it doesn't even really it could be the story of it, but it doesn't have to be like centered around war and stuff. You could make it centered around just the existence of living in it with all the different cinematography and everything. Like, I could do that with my website, like with Google Earth. I could make a movie. Like, I really would love to do that. And then, but if you did it with high quality, like, my God, you could make these places just look so magical and beautiful. Like, I've traveled around those places, and that's some of the most mystical places in the world. Like, if I were to reincarnate at a time and place, one of the first places I would consider would be like a Native American living in the desert of Arizona, like in those cliffs. Because I actually have a past life memory of that. When I was like 5 and 6, there was this book called The Sunchild, and it was about Indians living in the adobe. And I was looking at those adobe houses, like with the ladders that take you to the next level, and I was like, I swear to God, I had like a past life memory. I was like, oh, I remember that. It was so beautiful living back in those times. Those houses are so beautiful, because it's beautiful. If you live in a place that's beautiful, it's beautiful in a different way than like the Amazon, like, so you could live a life there and then go live a life in the Amazon. But anyway, there's so many places that you can make movies like that really do exist, that of the past, that are just beautiful. All these places carved into the rocks and stuff. Every time I'm a member of all of those groups on Facebook. I go to Facebook all the time, just for fun. And now I'm going there just to like look at those historical photos and like making memberships of all those historical. And every time I see something good, I copy it to my phone, man, so I can show it to my mom. So cool. But anyways, so that's but I wanted to do that with Rome because Rome, the reason that Rome was called the Eternal City and that everybody fell in love with Rome is because it instilled this concept of civilization in people who had never seen it before. And then they could vision like a world like the one we live in today, organized and, huge buildings, everything's clean, everything's taken care of, sicknesses and all that. Because Rome back in the day, and also you realize that, designs of the past, like why not bring back certain architectural and designs and everything, like fashion and all that from the past, because it all it sometimes when it's simplified, and maybe sometimes the first way they designed it is the best, and everything that came after that was like an adjustment from compromise. Because when I was looking at Rome, like I could get into the mind of those people back then being like, wow, this is amazing, because the way they designed it, because Rome was, they got around in horses and carriages. They didn't have like big fast sports cars, so their roads didn't do like slight curves like that, and their roads went straight and as long as they possibly could, and then they would turn and go straight. Now that makes for the most picturesque existence ever, because you have all of these roads that you can look all the way down, and everything's perfectly symmetrical. Like the sidewalk goes in the middle symmetrically, the buildings all the buildings look the same. I was looking at New York last night. There's one of these like YouTube channels where they rebuilt, they make 4K, all these old video, and I was looking at New York from the 40s. And it has such a simplistic beauty to it. They had all of these like big square apartment buildings, just all of them, and really big, but they all looked the same and they were just really simple. And I was like, like that would install a sense of like civilization and peace, But that's kind of like what Rome was. You look down and it's just all these just squares and circles, just perfectly linear. And like when you're looking down a road that's perfectly straight for like 2 miles or something, like you're going to see all the undulations of the land, the natural undulations of the land. You're going to absorb so much more, and it's going to be so much more beautiful. You can see things far and away. You can judge how it comes. So you can judge how fast you're going, how long it takes to get somewhere. Like how many miles. Like you get to the turn, and then there's your milestone, and it says, and you probably know there's another milestone at the next turn, so then you see the milestone the next turn, you can calculate, and then you know how far it is between there. They probably had a really good sense of distance and speed because of that. So, and then if you go into the buildings, like, they were also set up where you could see all the way down the building. They would have these corridors that just go all the way down. So you would, so if you see like, and then you see the pillars. So it's like you could count the pillars, that pillar area is where you turn in and go in to that room with those pools, And so when you go halfway down there and then you look down, you can see all the way down to the end of the building. And it's just more aesthetic than, I think, the technique we really have, which is like you can't really see. It's kind of like we're still brainwashed by the patchwork architecture, because like Rome died, and then people kind of like built these little huts, filled it in with these little huts all over the place. And then we got in the habit of doing that, and so then we would just design building like cities like that. It's just little windy roads and huts and stuff. And I think they also had a little bit of an advantage in that in 509, in 499, they got sacked by the French, and their entire city was burnt down. So they had the opportunity. Oh, no. Yeah, I guess before that, they had really gridded cities, but then after that, it got a little bit jagged because people rebuilt it too fast. Anyways. it's just amazing to travel around ancient Rome, and I want to do those videos and explain and show pretty soon, because all I have to do is kind of piece it together. So anyway, so I did Rome, I did Boulder, every single city in the world, tribe, and then you do the videos zooming in and out and doing the tours of them. I did these tribes zooming in and out and doing, because I have like every single tribe in France, or a tribe I do, I have a 20K, or I have a road between all the different cities that they had that we know about. And then I have how far they are. So you can imagine them as like bike riding on a certain, or driving on a certain distance. Yeah, but I think I lost those. I did like 65 different, and I zoomed in and out, and I think that's one of the things that I lost. Yeah, I've lost a few things that I've spent weeks on, but I guess that's kind of bound to happen. I don't know what happened with that. I also need to get my Italy back, of the roads, ancient Roman roads in Italy with the polygon. But it's in a 2.11 gigabyte file I can't open. Anyways, I'm trying to talk about all the stuff I have on my site. It's kind of like more than I can remember. You know, I have every single history book in the world on my site, where the entire book is on my site. On one page, so that you can zoom up and down anywhere on the book as fast as you want, or you could have it read to you the whole thing without having to click to the next page. But then I also have them all on various different menus, the different dimensions of the book. I have 6 different size examples of the Mahabharata. So, you know, I'm going to have the original, and then I'm going to have another page that has the other 5 different sizes, like a completely different. It'll be the only book that has 2 pages because it's so big. It's 13,000 pages. Anyways, that's probably like 20% of the projects that I have on my site. And, you know, none of them are done. So, but the reason that I did that is all those things I listed don't exist anywhere. Nobody Google Earthed anything. Nobody made a timeline that was, you know, more than like just a poster size thing. I mean, like a website. Nobody grids the site, you know. So that's why I got addicted to just doing these things. So I'm like, I can't live in a world where Google Earth isn't on Rome, or like if I know where Atlantis is because I found it looking because I was gonna Google Earth it from Plato. I can't live, and if I find it, I can't live in a world where people don't know. I can't live in a world where it isn't made, and it's like I can't live in a world doesn't exist, and then, well, then you're not gonna, because you're gonna die soon, because you're not gonna get any exercise. So it's like, just settle for, you live in the world now because of you where it's started. The projects are at least started. Yeah, and then if anybody wants to get on my website and run with my website, get the ideas still from my website, you can take whatever from my website as you can, as you want, and monetize it, because in the future, everybody's website is going to look exactly like mine. There's no way to avoid that. In 100 years, yeah, everybody almost identical to my site, because everything's going to be maximized, and that's how you maximize. You can't. How could you pack something better than a crystal? How could you use more colors on those? What are in the rainbow? You know what I mean? The only thing is if somebody makes some kind of like 3-dimensional, like different technology, you know. So or something, yeah, some spherical. I don't know. So, but I don't think so. Anyways, so in that combination with me being so physically ill that I'm like not even totally sure if I can bounce back. That's what's going to motivate me to not have the relapse on the site. But also I can't, because I don't have the money and I don't have a computer. So I have one computer that barely works. So, and I have to upload those pages at least to my website. I have to turn on Dreamweaver one more time and upload all those, because I didn't even do that. And like I'm freaked because I don't know. Maybe I'm scared the computer might die soon. So I don't want my like ferrets to get jealous of it and like pee on the keyboard. I don't think they've ever done that, but anyways, yeah, so that's what I'm up to. My mom was going to call me to go to the gym pretty soon. So after this video, I'm going to upload it and then stretch and go to the gym. If I have time, I'll ride. But today, the most important thing is the gym, because my back is just like, I can feel I have no muscle in my back. And I need to rebuild muscle. That's more important. As far as time goes, it's at this point, if I'm slightly tired, slightly beat, and I don't mean muscularly, I just mean like from just an exercise, it's probably better for me to not ride and just to stretch and lift weights at this point. Yeah, so anyways, that's enough talking. Oh, when I went into the doctor's office yesterday, they weighed me and I was 180. And I was 188 when I went to the gym last week. So I'd like dumped 8 pounds of baby fat. So that's pretty cool. Maybe it was part energy I was using on my bike rides. You know, because like that fat had to get processed somehow. You know, maybe we used it as nutrition for helping replenish the body. Anyways, that's all. I'm going to upload this onto the website. I mean, onto my YouTube now, and just spend the rest of the day stretching and working out until I can't move anymore, and then. Instead, I'm not gonna sit on this couch anymore. If I want to like watch a movie, I saw Madame Web yesterday. That was fun, and then I could watch Aloha. Might watch that. Just sit down and watching movies is what you do when you just want to switch off your brain. That's why movies are so popular. Everybody's brains are switched off, or at least silly movies. In the future, all movies will be like historical, like real stories. Will be like educational. Anyways, enough talking. Talk to you tomorrow.